Did I just deep stage on this thing? Is that what just happened? Oh. Yeah, this thing's wild.
I don't know what happened there.
I don't know what was it doing.
Rolled in.
All right, we got to make a bigger version of this. Alright guys, so I started making a post the other day because I hadn't really seen a lot of good info on how to do this. So we decided we would just kind of jump into it using some of the knowledge that other people had posted and see what we can come up with. Manual steering on the 99 to 06 GM pickup truck. Now, mine's a two-wheel drive, so I don't know how it works on the four-wheel drive guys. I know there's a couple of other guys like Derek Hennick, I think is how you pronounce his last name. He seems to be doing one on his, and so it's probably a little different, but I think he used the same rack. That being said, quick breakdown of parts. I needed a 1-inch double D shaft, which I have the motion column. So the motion column has a joint that goes straight to that. So that, you know, is what I needed to use. I don't know, tying it into the stock column, I don't remember what that has, so you may need something different for that part. But then it goes from that to a U-joint that goes down to, I think it's 9/16 18 or 28, maybe 9/16 28, I think is what it was. And that's what the Flaming River spline part is. So once you have that shaft to extend down to that and that U-joint to connect to the rack, the rest of it's pretty easy. And real quick, I'll just show you kind of what we had to do to make it work. Now, I don't have the spindles drilled out yet because we're not entirely sure what we're doing. So that part is temporary, but it's an easy enough fix either way. So let me show you what we have going on here. Now, we rolled the truck outside so that we can get kind of a better view of what's going on here. So I apologize that there's a shadow at all, but basically the FR 1515 rack from Flaming River, and it comes with these mounts here that there's one on each side. They bolt into the factory places on the Mustangs. So on these trucks, you know, it bolts in through these bolts here. Basically what we did was we just took these brackets. One of them slips all the way over. It's kind of hard to see, but there's a bigger lip here. This bracket is already cut to slide directly over it, no problem. This bracket over here, though, was stepped. So it's supposed to only slide halfway over this, and the other half stays on here. So we just milled this block all the way out to where it could slide further on this. And then on each one of these brackets on the outside edges, we machined off about a 1/16 of an inch. I'm not a machinist, so I won't tell you how many thousandths it is or anything like that. I'm not that technical with it, but we just chucked it up in the mill and just, you know, cut a little bit off of it. So you do that and it literally just bolts right into where the stock ones go. We did do a little spacer there to bump it off of it just a little bit so that this nut would clear when you rotate it up. And then just took some S550. These are the Steeda bump steer kits. They work out pretty good on it. The only thing that we may need to do is I may need to get a little bit longer sleeve, but it seems to be in there pretty good right now. I haven't tried to align it or anything, but you know, just for, you know, initial mock-up, both wheels and tires are pretty straight, and currently the steering wheel is pretty straight, so everything kind of lines up pretty good there. One thing I will say is that in here, this is a little bit of a pain. And in case anybody's wondering, basically all we did in here was I just took the stock. This is the column that's supposed to bolt into the stock truck location. So I didn't want to buy another column, so we just modified this. I made a couple of mounts that just come off of there, a third one that goes down there. Everything's nice and sturdy and stout. Stiffened it up a lot putting these gussets and stuff in, which we showed in another video. But it's, you know, it just comes into back here and just ties in with that one joint straight into the steering column. I mean, it's nice and simple. It's I don't have a lot of weight on the truck, so you know it's fairly easy to turn right now with just one hand, but I will say that if you're going to put a manual steering rack into a full-size pickup truck, you're probably going to run into some issues, because I can see it being a little bit difficult to steer at full weight. Maybe not, and if it's not something that you daily drive, it's probably not a huge deal, but maybe it would not be comfortable for a daily driver. So that's realistically all we had to do. I mean, it's a lot of money for one mod. You know, I mean, it's the Steeda bump steer kit is like $240. The Flaming River rack is like another $800 to $900, I think. Steering shaft is like $50 or $60. The joints are like $80 to $90 a piece. So it definitely adds up, and it's not the cheapest mod you can do, but if your truck is light enough to use manual steering, I think it would be totally fine. They are heavy on the nose typically, so doing manual steering in like a daily driver, I probably wouldn't do it personally. But you know, to each his own. I've seen people do a lot of weird stuff, and it kind of works out sometimes. So, you know, I'm not knocking anybody who tries it, for sure. And I'm interested to see, you know, if one of you guys ends up doing it, you know, how does it work out on a daily driver? Do you mind it, you know? That being said, if anybody needs any help with the kit, you know, we're definitely happy to help do the machining and stuff like that on it. You know, it's really not that difficult, especially once you figure it out. The biggest thing is just access to the equipment. So, you know, go out, buy the parts. I'll probably put a couple of links to the ones that we have. And, you know, if you got any questions, give me a shout. And I'm not the only person to ever do this, so there's definitely some other good resources you can ask around about. But just wanted to do a quick video and get this thrown up so everybody has an idea of what we wound up doing.
Do your best.
What is it? Like and follow?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Like and follow.
You nailed it.
There we
Thank
go.
you.
You're welcome.